There we are. Sorry about that. Oh, I'm getting our special guest is being a little rowdy this evening. So hold on. Let me bring her on before she even gets rowdier. So ready, everyone? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Say hello to Honey Bear. She's been on 3 times now, I think.
Hi, baby girl.
You were just getting so rowdy. You want to say hello?
Look at that face.
I know. Okay, she doesn't want to say hello, but you're good. All right, we're coming back up. Oh, she's probably going to get sassy now that I'm not paying attention to her, but that's totally okay. And I'm going to go ahead and plug I was just hugging her, plug my headset in real quick. Oh, everyone bear with me. All righty, people. Welcome to the Real Football Fans of New Jersey. I am Caitlin. This is Katie. And obviously you guys just met Honey Bear, but welcome to episode 213. And I think the most exciting part of this episode is that look what just arrived in the mail before the show. Katie, hold yours up because you literally just got it 2 seconds ago while we were literally doing this. Here's my other one as well. These jerseys are here. They are phenomenal. And oh my God, look at what Katie's showing as well. I want to get like hold it up. I want to get like a print screen. Oh, I can't. I don't know. I can't take a screenshot. I'm like, you can't do that. I thought I'd be able to, but I couldn't. But honestly, so excited. It's a little, in my opinion, more snug around my waist than I thought it would be, but it's okay. We get these jerseys. I must say, Katie, it feels so good to actually be able to purchase a jersey again and get excited for it to come in the mail because I feel like we've been on a jersey hiatus for a very long time.
Yeah, it's definitely been a hot minute. So I know it's been a little tricky with the current roster the last couple seasons and feeling comfortable getting somebody. So I went with good old LT. You can't go wrong with that. Nice Lawrence Taylor jersey. I think the last time I almost bought a jersey, Kate, I think it was when you and I both almost pulled the trigger on getting a custom jersey that said snacks on the back. And thank God we didn't, because like a month later is when he was released or traded. So it was like, okay, no more.
Yeah, he went over, obviously, unfortunately. I think he went to Detroit after us, and I just was so upset. But he ended up retiring, no barking, just a short time after. And I was like, you could have just stop it. She wants attention. HB wants attention. This isn't the HB show, though, unless you want to join the Real Football Fans.
I can't believe that's her bark, because in the background it sounds like a little Pomeranian.
She's got a very sassy bark. So, but when she barks in a mean way, she looks like a man, and she's like. But with that being said, oh my God, HB, I'm gonna have Chris come pick you up and take you home. You cannot bark on the show, right? Okay, come here. You come here? Okay, good girl. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. Thank you guys for joining us. As always, we asked you guys for questions this week, and as always, you delivered. So thank you for that. So we have 4 questions that we picked, and we want to go over them real quick. So first one. Is Green Bay's Alan Lazard a target for you in fantasy early on this year?
I mean, listen, he is the new WR1 in Green Bay. And early on, I don't know. There's just so many good wide receivers in this league that you already have seen are like proven WR1s, like that are worthy of being taken early. I think he's middle rounds. I don't feel the need to pull, like, I think someone could roll the dice on it and it could totally pan out. I could 100% see that. But I just think there are so many good wide receivers in the league that, like, you don't necessarily need to roll the dice. Just if he falls to you at a good spot, go for it. But I think maybe that's like middle rounds.
I think that's a massive piece of advice. And I think it's a key piece of advice that you just said. If he falls to you in a certain spot and you feel comfortable about it, like, sure, like pull the trigger, like it's great. Like, it's a good positioning. I don't like the word early in this stance. There's so many, like we just did, like we're talking about running backs later in the episode. We already talked about wide receivers, and that list was massive. We had a lot of people going on right there. And he, to me, like as much as Aaron Rodgers is a throwing quarterback, I think they're going to have to focus on that running game this year with the loss of Devontae Adams. To me, it's not the same thing. And you have, Aaron Rodgers as an MVP quarterback. It does not matter. You lose that star player, you're going to have to make some shifts in the offense. And I don't think that him tossing the ball to one guy is going to result in a touchdown every single time. So I don't want people to have that mentality going into a pick for fantasy, because that can actually screw you at the end of the day. So that word early, that's what I dislike about that. So I'd like your advice. Listen, if he falls to you in a certain time and you feel comfortable with it, great. But like, just kind of pan out your other options for sure.
Yep.
All righty. So this one's funny. What does homework clause in Kyler Murray's contract say about his character? And we will touch on this a little bit more, but I guess we can just give our opinions on it now. And Katie, if you want to give like a little bit of a synopsis for it.
A synopsis for like what the contract was saying? Or?
Yeah. So basically just...
Yeah. There was like a little clause in his contract saying that he was like required to have 4 hours worth of studying time, like in a week,
right?
Like, individual study time. And I just kind of feel like it's not great, because first off, you almost expect that from your star quarterback anyways. I know like Eli and Peyton Manning were like such hounds when it came to like hitting film and like just studying nonstop and watching film nonstop. And I just feel like you should be doing that anyways. And I feel like the contract that they just gave him, and we're going to speak on that as well. If we're going to give you that contract, these are the things that we expect. Do you really need to put that in writing? It almost makes it feel like you don't trust him, like he's like a little kid, like a little baby. And yes, he's young, but like you're a professional, and like we are going to pay you that kind of money. Like I expect that of you, and you shouldn't have to put it into a contract. So I feel like it's almost like we're paying you this money, so we trust you. But then at the same time, you're putting that in his contract, and it makes it feel like, do you really trust me? Like, or do you just view me as like a baby who needs to be monitored? So yeah, I think it's great.
It says so many poor things about his, character, because, coming out of college, Kyler Murray's actually known not to study tape and to not do things. It really is like, that is one of his things that he entered the NFL. Like he was almost proud of saying, and it was known around the league, but, kind of people swept it under the rug. Well, now you're sweeping it under the rug, Arizona, to a point where now it's in your contract. So I think that this is actually a sign to a lot of teams as we enter more drafts where quarterbacks are more apparent and you want to make these guys your franchise thing. Like you said, he's a
film.
They're a professional. All of them should be studying film. It's not like, our day-to-day jobs in corporate America, like we have things to do. We have presentations we have put together. We have emails we have to write. We have to do things like that. If you're a professional athlete, that is a part of your day-to-day job. Like you literally have to do these things. So the fact that it is actually put like contractually in writing, like that is embarrassing. So, and I think there's something in there too wild about like he can't play video games. So I just like it's for like certain amount of time. Like
so it's like, what are you doing? And this is just not Kyler Murray, but like anybody, what are you doing every day in your life to be better than the day before? Like
it's literally.
And to me, it's like, okay, Kyler, you want to brag about like, I don't know, like if you don't study film, like you're a top 10 quarterback in the league. Well, maybe if you study film, maybe you could crack into the top 5. Like, what are you doing to always make sure you're getting better at your film? Like, honestly.
It's honestly just so frustrating for me to see that. Like, yes, I'm never going to be an NFL quarterback. I'm not gonna, but it's just like for like, what exactly, what are you doing to be better then? Like, I do question all of that. And I wonder like how many discrepancies or like how many like minor things in his contract that we're not seeing that are even more detailed than this. Like these things were made to the public. I wonder, because I always question, is he going to go back to baseball? Like that to me is just always at the front of my mind. Like he's just going to be like, F this, like, I'm not doing great in the NFL, or like I haven't won a Super Bowl in 3 years. Like I'm out of here. Like I just like, to me, like all of this points back to that childish behavior, and also that behavior of kind of like, you don't know what's going to go on, like that indecisive behavior between him. So I don't know. It's wild. We're going to get more into his contract in a little bit, but it's something that is mind boggling to me. You should not be told, you should not be paid to watch. I mean, you are being paid to watch film, but it shouldn't be written down.
Yeah.
All right. So this is a question I knew we were going to get as soon as we posted the news about it, because I was thinking about it. As soon as right away, I was like, I know we're going to get this question. And I was like, oh, and I don't even know if I know the answer, to be honest, Katie. Where do you think Jimmy Garoppolo is going to end up? Because obviously, he, the news came out. We posted it to, our Real Football Fans in New Jersey pages that the Niners, they're going with Trey Lance. So that's what their decision is. So, Katie, I don't know. Where do you think he's going to end up? Where could he end up?
He could still be with the 49ers this season.
You're right. That's a good point.
Still a possibility. Yeah. And to be honest, I almost feel like it wouldn't shock me if he went to a team that, wasn't even on people's radars. Like, he could go to a team like Tampa Bay, be with Tom Brady, knowing that Tom Brady is probably only going to play for another season or two. Mm. He could fall in a situation like that. I think the two most quarterback needy teams, now that Carolina has brought in Baker Mayfield, I think the two most needy quarterback teams in the league, Atlanta is one of them, but they're not going to do it because they drafted Desmond Ridder. Right. I'm looking at Seattle, who's got Drew Lock and Geno Smith, and I'm looking at Houston, who's got Davis Mills. And I think it's got to be one of those teams. And to be honest, I think Seattle would be a good one. Stay in that division, go help Seattle beat the team that, twice a year that you were just playing for. I think Seattle should be knocking down the door and being like, Jimmy, get over here. So I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks.
Like, let's bring that inner conference, bring us to them. I totally understand. And I agree with you 100% on Seattle. The thing is with Houston, they popped into my mind early on, but then I completely eliminated them right away because they have such this weird high on Davis Mills, and I have no idea what it is, Katie. I could not fathom it to you, to anyone in this world. Like, you could not give me $1,000+ right now and be like, Caitlin, try to make the argument for Houston, try to make the argument for him. Like, no offense, great, you're in the NFL and you clearly have a starting position come, the fall, but I just don't know what it is, but they're so set on him. I do not think they're going to make any type of move towards Jimmy G, and they should.
Maybe they're set on setting themselves up to get the number 1 draft pick next year.
You're not wrong. 100%. You're not wrong with that. And if someone, I get a little nervous with, I don't want Bryce Young going to that, but I totally get it for sure. They were like the sore thumb, that stuck out to me 100%. But you just have to eliminate them immediately. But Seattle, yes. And it's someone, again, knows the conference or the division, bring him in. Let's see, because you're not really flying too high from a quarterback situation. I mean, we definitely have spoken very highly of Drew Lock in the past, but clearly things haven't really, we were on that train derailed a little bit for us, Katie. And we can fully admit it. We're good on our takes. So, honestly, but it is what it is. And then I don't know. I'm looking at something here. Oh, something on. All right. So someone's popping in. Oh, one of our Twitter followers is finally popping in live on the YouTube. Oh, thank you so much. So then purposely tanking more of a money situation. Yeah. Well, yeah, totally get that. I do think too, because naming the Giants right there, I think the rumor of Jimmy G to the Giants is hilarious always. It's not happening.
I think it could be a team that is not on people's radars. We're stating the obvious. Seattle and Houston, they need quarterbacks, right? But like I said, it's not going to surprise me if he ends up in a scenario of like I said, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, just a situation where they might have a quarterback for the season this year, but they're almost planning for the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, after this season, then what are we looking at? Tom Brady could be gone, so that wouldn't surprise me either.
100%. And like, honestly, I do actually really love that you brought up San Francisco as your first option, because he could totally just sit back and let Trey Lance take it. And we're actually going to answer a question regarding that in a second. What if he doesn't actually fully take it? Jimmy G is actually your backup. So that's a very fair point there.
Yeah.
All right. And then finally, last question from you guys. Thank you so much. As always, what does Trey Lance need to do this year to solidify his role as the starting quarterback in San Francisco?
Playoffs are bust, because, I'm not a fan of the fact that San Fran is moving on from Jimmy G. I think
I thought that was wild.
He wildly exceeded expectations last year. The whole team did, for making it to the NFC Conference Championship game. Nobody would have bet on that. Nobody would have seen that happening. And I get it. They feel as though they've just got this game manager and they need like the quarterback to help them get over that hump and win the Super Bowl. I just don't think that Trey Lance is going to come in and like be that much better. So to me, in my opinion, is like, you got to at least make it to the playoffs. And that's going to be challenging, because he's coming in for the very first time as a starting quarterback in the league.
Right.
That doesn't usually happen. Like, think about the other rookie quarterbacks that get drafted, maybe in the top 5 in the first round, and they get thrown in week 1, day 1 as the starting quarterback. Trevor Lawrence, like, that doesn't happen overnight. Like, that doesn't usually happen in your first year in the league. So I don't know. Apparently the buzz is that San Fran is just they really believe in Trey Lance, and we're not behind the scenes to see what they're seeing in him. I would have stuck with Jimmy G. And, so if they end up keeping him, I think that's going to be really good for them, because I'm not sold. I'm not sold on them, like, all in on Trey Lance. I'm just not.
I'm not either. And I do want to make a comment on this comment. So Jimmy got carried to the playoffs 100%. And that's why Katie and I have mentioned time from time, he is he's a game manager. He really is. The commentary on that, though, like, if you want to say that maybe they'll carry Trey into the playoffs. Listen, Deebo Samuel is still having contract issues. Like, that is a huge playmaker on your team. So if you want to think that the offensive line is going to physically pick up Trey Lance and put him into the end zone, great. That's good for you. Or if you think that defense is still going to stop it, that's awesome. But now you're missing 2 technical playmakers. So Jimmy G got carried into the playoffs for a reason. So if Deebo doesn't come to an agreement with San Francisco and you're going all in on Trey Lance, you're actually screwed in multiple areas there. Unless Trey Lance truly is your guide. He really is the thing there. So, well, I think it's a factual statement that he literally got carried into the playoffs. There's so many multiple factors that you have to think about now that Trey Lance is moving into that starting position. So,
yeah. If the kid ends up being a freaking superstar, then we can go back and pull up these receipts.
Always. But we just did about Drew Lock. I don't have any.
I'm going to stand firm. I'm going to stand firm on the fact that I really think the 49ers should stick with Jimmy G. And I don't know why they're so fine with parting ways and passing the torch to this kid. So we'll see what happens.
We're seeing a lot, comments too about youth being that, that factor and that belief in the NFL right now, like bring them in young and they'll do the right thing. For me, I strongly disagree with that. And it has nothing to do with even the players. It's the coaches as well. That there's that such, when we saw Sean McVay come into the NFL, there was I need a young coach right away. We saw so many teams fail with that aspect. It kind of goes along the lines too, bringing in quarterbacks and starting them so young. It's not always going to make sense. It's not.
Some of the best quarterbacks in the league right now are young. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray. Okay. But there are far more young quarterbacks that have gotten their fair chance in the league and have not panned out at all. It is very hard to get it right when it comes to the quarterback position. And I get being excited about a young talent, but many, many times, more often than not, it does not pan out.
Yeah. It just open them eyes, people. Open them eyes. All right. So those are our questions. Thank you guys so much. We're getting a ton of engagement across YouTube and Twitter right now. So keep it coming. If you have any more questions for us, please send them in. But we're going to go ahead and get into our quick hot topics for the NFL tonight.
Yeah, so we're just going to run through this real quick. Obviously, we talked about this at the beginning of the show, but on Thursday, Arizona and quarterback Kyler Murray agreed to a 5-year contract extension worth $230 million,
Ooh.
$160 million in guarantees. He's now the NFL's second highest paid player on a per year basis.
That makes me sick, to be honest. I just need to put it out. That makes me
crazy.
Literally sick to my stomach that he's the second highest paid per year.
But that's what happens. Anytime a quarterback is due to be paid, like
I know, but still.
They always one up the last one. But it was also reported yesterday, like we said, that his new contract has an addendum that requires him to complete at least 4 hours of independent study each week. So we already gave our thoughts and opinions on that. But this one is really tough. Caitlin, I know this one hits home for you. On Sunday, Houston rookie wide receiver John Mechie announced that he will unlikely play this season after being diagnosed with a treatable form of leukemia. This form of leukemia is known as the most curable, and it actually was the same kind of leukemia that former Indianapolis head coach Chuck Pagano was diagnosed with in 2012. And let's not forget, when he was diagnosed, he ended up coming back at the end of the season to come coach for them. So cancer is cancer, leukemia is leukemia. Yeah. We're not saying that this is not absolutely, terrifying and heartbreaking, but, we hope that he will be okay, positive thoughts that he will be okay, and that, to hear that kind of, like, to go back to Chuck Pagano and see what happened with him and see how that story unfolded, it gives you a lot of hope.
Yeah, there's definitely hope. I just want to take this moment to send all of it makes me so emotional. I absolutely love John Mechie so much. He was such a crucial factor, with Alabama these past couple of seasons, and even going into the championship game this year. And unfortunately, he suffered that really gruesome injury. I was so high on him going into the draft when so many people pushed him back because he was coming off an injury. I wanted the Giants to take him.
He went one Houston for the Giants, 44th overall pick in this year's draft.
I was so ready for the Giants to take him, and I really wanted them to. And I will still, no matter what happens, I will still be mad at the Giants for not taking him. I really love this kid. I love his talent. I was so excited to see him this season. This news was so literally soul crushing for me. And I just all my Bama guys, all my Giants guys, I have my full heart in everything that they do on the field, off the field. So I did express a lot of, emotion on social media already, but I just want to, share it obviously live on the show, on the podcast, that, I give my whole heart to him, his family, his friends. And I just really, I think there is a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope within Alabama, within Houston, and the entire NFL, with him, his family. And I just really want to make sure that is escalated outwards. And I wish him all the best, and I'm looking forward to seeing him come back and totally kick ass in the NFL.
He'll be back, and I'm looking forward to watching him. Houston certainly, they need him. He could have been a big playmaker for that team this year. So I know he'll be back, and when he is, I know he's going to be an exciting player to watch. So
yeah.
Following 13 seasons with 5 different teams, wide receiver Danny Amendola announced his retirement. The 36-year-old last played for Houston in 2021. It was a 2-time Super Bowl champion with New England. It's almost
I forgot about him, to be honest.
2 rings with New England? I thought it was you think it's more, but
I forgot about Danny Amendola.
He also played for the Rams, Miami, and Detroit. He finishes his career with 11,761 all-purpose yards. Yeah. Another retirement to announce. This one had me emotional. I thought this one was sad.
Again, it was a very emotional couple of days.
Yesterday, Seattle running back Chris Carson announced his retirement due to that neck injury that he sustained last year after playing in just 4 games last season. I drafted him in the 3rd round of my fantasy football draft.
I think I had him not this last season, the season before.
that was tough, but a neck injury is a very, very serious thing. He's only 27 years old.
Oh,
Carson played just 5 seasons in the NFL. A good enough back that I took him early in fantasy. He was a really great back in the league. His decision to retire came after he failed his physical. So, it was a very serious injury that he still failed his physical.
Right.
Seattle will now release him with a failed physical designation so that he can receive injury protection benefits.
I very much respect that. Yeah.
Yeah, you hate to see careers end over serious injuries that you can't really come back from.
I think back to David Wilson with the Giants. He had like 2 games and hurt himself, and that was
Nick Gates. We don't know what will be with Nick Gates.
We don't.
He had a super gruesome injury last season, and so it's very heartbreaking. But listen, health is first and foremost,
right?
And what he did do in his time in the NFL. Obviously, he had a great, short but great
5 seasons. And that you think of him as a human being.
Most NFL players do not get 5 seasons.
No, but you thought maybe he played for 10 seasons because you saw Chris Carson.
He's a vet.
If you're a football fan, he's a household name. You know what he's doing. You know what he was up to in Seattle. You knew everything that he was doing, even when certain times you questioned, who Russell's, weapons were. You knew he could pass it off to Chris Carson. That injury going down, you were like, oh, kind of crap. Like, you do have, wide receiver weapons, but what are they going to do in that aspect? Because he was your go-to guy. 100%, beyond shocking. And again, 5 years, guys, it's just not a long time at all. But he did so much in such a short amount of time. Should definitely be proud of everything. But like you said, health comes first. And it is sad to see he is a young talent go.
Absolutely. Okay, well, these last 2 ones both have to do with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers adding 2 new weapons to Tom Brady.
Of course they are, because they keep everyone, but they're playing they're like the Rams. They have monopoly money. It's like, where is it coming from?
So yesterday it was reported that Tampa Bay is signing Tennessee wide receiver Julio Jones to a 1-year deal. The 7-time Pro Bowler will join quarterback Tom Brady and fellow wide receivers like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller, Rashad Perriman, Tyler Johnson, and Russell Gage. I was like, when I wrote that all down, I was like, oh my God. And they got Russell Gage and they got Rashad Perriman. I'm like, I forgot that they even had all of these people.
I know.
It's almost too many. I think it's too crowded of a room there, but we'll see.
Right.
Maybe some of them don't make the team. I don't know. But Tennessee released Julio in March, just 1 season after acquiring him from Atlanta, mainly due to injuries. Last season, he played in just 10 games with 31 catches for 434 yards and 1 touchdown.
That is not the Julio Jones that
he has not played a full, 16, now 17 game season in the last 2 years. So health and age is a concern for Julio. It's why a big household name like that still was released, this off season, and why you're just getting a 1-year deal with Tampa Bay. And I think we're kind of seeing the final stages of the career here for Julio Jones. So
yeah, and I'm really upset about that.
If people I think maybe people who don't pay as much attention to football as we do might still think that Julio Jones is like Julio Jones.
So
don't be going in fantasy and snatching them up. I pump the brakes on that one.
So literally, I'm not going to call this individual out, but literally a verified sports analyst literally tweeted today a lot of you are acting like Julio Jones still isn't Julio Jones. And I spared myself from going in and just ripping this human being apart, because again, I will pull my bias from being an Alabama fan. I've been watching Julio Jones for literally centuries at this point. And I can guarantee you he is not Julio Jones. And literally, like you had just said, that statement, in my opinion, is a commoner statement of, you think that you hear that name and you see his presence
with Tom Brady.
No. And listen, again, come back to us in a season. If we suck, we suck. Great. I don't care. But I've seen him go. I was excited for him to go to Tennessee and see what he could do, because when he was on the Falcons, regardless, when he was hot, near the end, you knew I was shitting on that entire organization for not doing anything for that team. They were so low on my, low.
Also think about it too. If he actually did stay in Tennessee, now that AJ Brown is is gone. He would actually be a better fantasy option with Ryan Tannehill and the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
And he would be in this uber crowded wide receiver room. Even though you got Tom Brady, there are way too many weapons here. So
I don't know. Maybe in his old age, Tom Brady just needs something to throw to. I don't
know. Speaking of, because we got another weapon here, a veteran, probably towards the end of his career as well. But on Thursday, it was announced that Tampa Bay signed former Minnesota Viking and New York Giant tight end Kyle Rudolph to a 1-year deal. The signing comes roughly a month after former Tampa Bay tight end Rob Gronkowski announced his retirement. Rudolph was a 2-time Pro Bowler with Minnesota, but was released this offseason by the Giants after just 26 catches, 257 yards, and 1 touchdown last season. So a little bit of a similar thing here to Julio with a 1-year deal, guys on the back 9 of their career and, didn't have much production.
I liked Kyle Rudolph, to be honest. I'm a
little, but, you those stats that I just read, you do need more production than that. Yeah. So
I'm a little peeved that I thought the Giants could have used him a little bit more. Like that's where but I understand like coaching staff decisions, whatever. I was a little peeved about that. So we, unfortunately, someone says we did take a year away from. We did. No, the Giants literally did. I 100% agree with that. I think we could have really used him. I remember, I think he made like one massive catch last year. And I was just like, I jumped off my couch and I was like, woohoo! Like finally, I was so excited because when we got him,
so excited to root for any tight end on the Giants that wasn't Evan Ingram. So
I got to tell you, Evan Ingram videos coming out. I know it's camp. I'm not going to get too hung up on it, but videos coming out of Jacksonville camp, and he's dropping passes. I did quote tweet something, and I was like, "Ooh!" I was like, "That looks like mid-season form." So.
We'll see. We'll see how they like him in Jacksonville.
He's not our problem anymore. So that's all I have to say about that. All righty. We had a ton to talk about in football. We're going to switch over to Housewives. I see a ton of you guys watching on the Twitter and the YouTube. Don't you worry. We're coming back to football. We have a phenomenal game for you guys in regards to running back. So stay tuned. Let's go in because we do not want to miss our Housewives audience. And holy guacamole, this was the most wild video I have ever seen. And maybe it was because I just got off of an airplane and I sent this to Katie immediately. Because listen, I'm not a good flyer. And if this happened to me after I stepped off an airplane, I don't know what I'd do. So Erika Jayne from The Real House of Beverly Hills, has been served with a $50 million lawsuit. So on Friday, after literally physically stepping off of a plane at LAX following a Hawaiian vacation with co-stars Lisa Rinna and Diana Jenkins, Erika Jayne was served at baggage claim with papers for a $50 million racketeering lawsuit. So honestly, imagine just coming off an airplane and you hate your life, like me. I don't want to be there. Hey, you now owe me $50 million. I'd be like, you know what? Take it. Honestly, I'm off the airplane. That's all that matters. So the lawsuit has been filed by Edelson PC. It alleges that Erika was aware of her estranged husband, Tom Girardi's scheme that's going on right now, where he allegedly embezzled settlement funds from the Lion Air 610 plane crash victim. So I'm not going to go into detail about that because plane crashes make me scared, and I know all about that because I'm a psycho and I look into all of them. But it's kind of ironic that she stepped off an airplane and was served with this. So Erika has been accused of 9 charges, including racketeering, unlawful business practice, and deceit. I think that's how you pronounce that word. We all know I'm not good with pronunciations.
Yes, that's how you pronounce that word.
I'm not very good, and I'm also not a lawyer. So please do not come to me on the definition of any of those terms right there. You can call Katie's husband. The lawsuit also claims that Erika's company, EJ Global, was created for the purpose of funneling money from Girardi Keys to benefit her. The court documents accuse her of flaunting her lavish lifestyle, which we all freaking know. She had a creative director literally fly around with her, while also acting as the front woman of the operation. So holy guacamole, if this is all true, and I think a lot of people have been saying, you knew about this when she denied it. That was a whole part, not even of this season of Beverly Hills, of last season and the season before. You knew about this, all this stuff. And she said, no, she deny. Now it's got $50 million is not a little amount of dollars, Katie.
Right. And you know what? To be honest with you, we haven't brought up Erika and Tom and the legal troubles on our show in a very long time. That's because there's a new story every single day.
Right.
It's hard to keep up with everything that's happening. A lot of the times it's stuff that we've already heard or already know, and it's just getting, obviously things like this take a very long time, and none of this will be settled for a very long time. But yes, of course, we've always heard like the rumblings of like, did she know? Did she not know? So, you know, I think it was more so the reason we're speaking about it tonight on the show is like that video footage of that happening, you know, being served at the airport, also right next to her co-stars who are on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with her, was more so like, you hear that they're, you know, they're being sued and this, that, the third, but to actually like see video footage of like her getting served was like a whole nother level for like Housewives spectators to see. 100%. So crazy. Oof. We'll keep you updated, not like super often, because like I said, there's a new story every single day with the two of them. But when things like this come out, obviously, you know, we share it. So all right. So this was a fun little article that came out last week from ScreenRant.com. This is our second Housewives story of the night. It was an article listing the cringiest couples of the Real Housewives franchise. I think there's been many more that are not on this list that was provided in this article. But we are going to reveal the list, and we are also going to give our pick for the cringiest couple of all time. So the list from ScreenRant.com in no particular order, cringiest couples in Housewives history. We have Ashley and Michael Darby from Real Housewives of Potomac. We have Tinsley Mortimer and Scott Kluth from Roni, which I don't think they were cringy. I just think people like have reasons.
I think now people are pissed about it. Yeah.
But I don't think they were like cringy. Like when they were together, you were rooting for them to like go all the way.
They did make out on their first date in front of Carol and
that's just Tinsley though. Like
that was kind of gross.
Yeah, but he was like an innocent bystander. He was like, oh, okay. Like
that was kind of cringy. That was kind of gross.
We have Gretchen Rossi and Slade Smiley from Real Housewives of Orange County. We have Kim Richards and Ken Blumenfield from Beverly Hills. Alex McCord and Simon Van Kempen from Roni, bringing it back old school there with them. And then we have Meredith and Seth Marks from Salt Lake City, which I don't agree with them being on this list. I'm very much team Meredith and Seth.
Me too.
I like them together. I like when they're doing well, and I root for them as a couple, and I don't find them cringy. I think maybe just this past season of Salt Lake City when like they kept harping on the fact that Seth was like obsessed with Whitney's boobs.
Yes.
I think people were cringing over those moments. Yes. But I think his marriage with Meredith is not cringy.
No.
So that is our list. Caitlin, do you have your vote for cringiest couple?
100%. And it was so easy. It was like it beamed out at me when I looked at this list. It is Alex McCord and Simon Van Kempen from Roni. They were literally the worst human beings I've ever seen on a Housewives show. I do not ever, there's so much controversy of like them showing up to girls' night together and the women giving her shit for it. No, like if it is an actual female night, like you do not bring your husband. I do not care if you do everything together. Like great behind the scenes, that's cute, like cool. But like you have to go to a girl. It was labeled a girls' night.
And Ramona used to give her so much shit.
And you deserve it. And like I will say, like I think I saw something of them recently, and like they're actually like not that weird anymore, in my opinion. Like I saw something where it was like, oh, I didn't want to like barf on the screen, but every time I saw them on, I just couldn't do it, Kate. I honestly just couldn't. I just don't. I don't know what it is. They suck.
Well, I went rogue and I went off the list. I'm truly wondering how Vicky Gumbelson and Brooks did not make this list.
Maybe because did you have to be married to be on this list?
Maybe there was a stipulation. Maybe there was a
might have
clause.
been married.
Maybe there was an asterisk in this article that I missed. But
well, no, Tinsley and Scott, did they got married, right? Yes. No, they just
think so. So maybe there was a stipulation in the article that I missed, but I was like surprised that they were not.
Oh, yes, great. So, yeah. Okay. They freaking sucked. Yeah,
they win for me. So,
but you know what? It really wasn't. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
some of them on this list I don't find super cringy. Like again, I said Meredith and Seth, Tinsley and Scott.
No.
I think Gretchen and Slade are definitely high up. They could have been a pick for cringiest.
Yeah.
Totally get them being there. But Vicky and Brooks, like I don't know if there was a stipulation, but if there was none, then they are Queen B and King B on that one.
Definitely agree. All right, so that's it for Housewives tonight. Obviously, listen, we've got stuff. We've got, listen, in both areas, football, Housewives, wine, light, everything is going on right now. All right, so let's go get into our game. We are playing that running back 1-2 punch. The other week, we did our wide receiver 1-2 punch. So similar to that, we are taking a look across the NFL at each team's running back positions. And listen, we went ahead and decided which 5 teams have the best running back 1-2 punch and which team has the worst running back 1-2 punch. Plus, we're giving an honorable mention. So just as a little bit of an asterisk here, while depth charts are not finalized across team websites, we are looking at ESPN's quote unquote depth charts. Training camp literally just started across the league. I think today everyone reported. So let's just keep that in mind. These are not final. Do not come running at us if you think some random guy is going to shoot out of the woodwork and take over the number 1 or the number 2 spot. And again, a lot of the team websites do not have official depth charts out. So this is strictly coming from ESPN so you can't go to Giants.com and get their.
Well, ESPN, I mean, when we were doing this game, I was like, I wonder if they already took out Chris Carson, for Seattle.
That's the thing.
They did. So they keep these very, very up to date, minute by minute. So,
right.
This is pretty accurate.
But that's probably why the teams actually don't do it, because they're probably shit, we can't be liable for this. These changes, we don't know what's going on day to day. And even with camp now, people are
change. They will change, and as camp goes, ESPN will change them, and that's how it will be. So
just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. We're not going to read off every team. I'm not going to do that. And we're not going to read you all of them. Basically, what we're going to do is we're going to go with our top 5. And Katie and I did rank them from 1 to 5. Mm-hmm. We are going to give you our honorable mention. And we are going to give you, or do you want to give your worst? It doesn't matter. We can give our worst.
Do worst. We could do worst at the end.
We'll do worst at the end. So we give you our honorable mention next. So let's do 1 to 5 then. Or do you want to do 5 to 1?
Let's do 5 to 1.
All right, so let's do 5 to 1. So, Katie, who do you have coming in at your number 5 slot? Team plus your duo.
At number 5, I am diving into our division, the NFC East. I am going with the Dallas Cowboys tandem of Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. I feel as though people are, and listen, I'm not a fan of him, but I do feel like people are sleeping a little bit and forgetting about Ezekiel Elliott a little bit.
I would not forget about him. No.
I just feel like he still is a top running back in the league. And then obviously this past season, times that maybe we saw him banged up a little bit, Tony Pollard would step right in flawlessly. Right. And I really do believe they're a nice 1-2 punch in Dallas.
Yep. All right. And also everyone can keep track throughout the evening how many Katie and I have similar. Maybe not at the same spot, but how many teams we have similar just in the top 5. All right. So at number 5 for me, I'm actually going to go with New Orleans, Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram. For me, obviously, Alvin Kamara is a top running back in the NFL right now. And I think one of the most interesting things about doing this analysis across all teams was that every pretty much number one was like cool. And you're like, great, I like them. Getting into the number twos was a little shady here, in my opinion. So, but what I like about the number two here is that Mark Ingram is a veteran in the NFL. So if you really want to kind of like look back into things and really kind of trust what your core is, taking a veteran at this spot, isn't really a terrible thing. So,
all right.
Coming in at number 4 for you, who do you have?
So at 4, I have the Denver Broncos, and I have Javonte Williams and I have Melvin Gordon. Javonte Williams, rookie last year, had a breakout rookie season. Was not on anybody's radar going into the year. And he is, we're not doing our fantasy football talk just yet, but he is going to be one of
you can take some advice.
My breakout players. Like, watch this guy, draft this guy. Javonte is RB1. And Melvin Gordon is RB2, and throw Melvin Gordon on a lot of other teams, and he would be RB1. So I love this tandem for Denver. This is a huge bright spot for their offense.
100%. All right, so this is where we swapped a little bit here, but I went with Dallas. I put them in at the number 4 spot for me. Very much so. A lot of what you said, I do not want people sleeping on Ezekiel Elliott, but mine on this one was 100% Tony Pollard being that number 2 on what you said. What did he do for the team last year? Everything. He literally stepped in as everything that he could, even dealing with a little bit of an injury. So I think that if you can keep that tandem for as long as you can, they're actually interchanging with each other. You're actually putting one in one spot, one in two. You're going back and forth.
It used to be, and there's not many running backs in the league like this anymore, where they're the bell cow and they get like a ridiculous amount of carries, and RB2 like barely gets any touches. It's all RB1. And that's how Ezekiel was when he came into the league. Dallas would run the crap out of him. And now, like, he could ease up a bit, and it's only going to help him and his career by being able to, like, share that load with Tony Pollard when he needs to.
So this is a little interesting tidbit that Alvin Kamara has never had 1,000-yard season.
Well, add his rushing and his receiving yards together, and that's a pretty nice stat. So.
No, it is. He is one of those dual threats that you get at the RB position for sure. But no, it is, and it's definitely something that's been on our radar for a while. Because we do actually, Alvin Kamara is one of the players that I feel like we do kind of look into in depth a little bit when we go into a lot of things. Because when you think of New Orleans, he is definitely one of the guys that just like peers out right at you and you're looking at him. So it is definitely interesting to see that for sure. All right. So number 3, who do you have?
All right. Number 3, maybe the RB2 is like might not jump out at everybody, but he's paired with one of the best, if not maybe the best running back. I'm going to Indy, and I'm going Jonathan Taylor and Nyheim Hines. So I actually had Nyheim Hines on my fantasy team. I think I picked him up during the year. He was like a bench player for me, but he's actually a very good receiving running back. He's small. He'll remind you of like a Darren Sproles, where he'll just catch out of the backfield. But pair him with Jonathan Taylor. I'm not saying Nyheim Hines would be an RB1 on another team, but he does enough, and you're pairing him with Jonathan Taylor. I had to add this duo onto my list.
All right. So a name that you had already mentioned, I put Denver in my 3rd spot with Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon very much because I love Javonte Williams. I love, what we're going to see from him in his year, and to have Melvin Gordon as your RB2, like hell yeah. Like I almost put them at my number 1, but I had to like pull back a little bit. I was like, hey, but they are like, they're everything you want in an RB duo. I feel like they are everything you want. I know that kind of sounds contradictory because I didn't put them at my number 1, but I think you'll understand why I didn't put them there in the next 2 picks. But like, they really are. And, Denver with Russell Wilson coming in, let's see what he can do from a wide receiver perspective. Let's see what he can do actually rushing himself. But I'd love to see how he actually interacts with his, running backs as well. And you have 2 freaking phenomenal ones to work with. So like, to me, that's really exciting. So I had to put them at number 3 here.
All right.
Who do you have falling in at number 2?
Number 2, another guy that I had on my fantasy football team last year. I am going to Green Bay with Mr. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Aaron Jones, and I can speak on this, like having him in fantasy last year, I thought he had a little bit of a down season last year. Like not a huge drop off. He's still very talented.
Right. He's still Aaron Jones.
But I don't feel like he had an Aaron Jones type year that we were used to seeing from him. But he's still a top back in the league. Maybe, he does need to be more of a focal point this year for Green Bay, losing a weapon like Devontae Adams. But AJ Dillon, he was definitely, I feel like, a fan favorite for people in fantasy, like in the later rounds and stashing him on your bench. He's a good running back as well. And I think they are one of the better, obviously, I have them at number 2, one of the better, more talented tandems at the running back position in the league.
We are finally lined up on one, Katie. I have them falling at number 2 for everything that you just said and more. Oh my goodness. In my opinion, we spoke about it earlier with Alan Lazard with that question that we got in on, is he looking at you wanting from a wide receiver perspective in fantasy early on? And I had made the comment, no, I don't care if Aaron Rodgers is a passer. They need to look at other options, offensively this season, no matter if Aaron Rodgers likes it or not. And listen, Aaron Rodgers, if you don't like it, they're going to find someone else, in my opinion, going a quarterback. So that's where the Green Bay Packers are at this point. And listen, they got to push Love to the run game. And that might not be a play on words if Jordan Love's going to be pushing Love to the run game or not. But literally, you have Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. That's phenomenal for a team who literally just lost Devontae Adams, who was your playmaker and everything like that. So absolutely love that. So I think it's great for them. And this is interesting. I did not know that Green Bay tried to make a move at Julio and also the Colts as well. So I don't know about Julio Jones in Green Bay. That's a little bit of question mark for me, but
I don't know.
Yeah, I love Julio Jones.
Green Bay definitely could use any kind of help, I think, at wide receiver right now.
Yeah, but I just don't know if that's the.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so coming down to our number 1.
I have a feeling that if we were in sync at number 2, I have a feeling we are going to agree on number 1. Everybody should agree at number 1. I am going with the Cleveland Browns, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Yes. Obviously, I think more than any other RB2 in the league, Kareem Hunt is most worthy of on another team 100%. Being RB1.
Oh, yeah.
So this tandem is scary, both obviously capable of rushing for over 1,000 yards. Who knows what the hell is going to happen with Deshaun Watson? This could be just run until you cannot run. And having either one of these guys on your fantasy football team is a real treat. They are the obvious number 1 on this list.
Yep, they are. There's not much more I have to say on this. It's 100% yes. If that was not your number 1, I don't know what you're doing. So I think we were pretty even.
We only had one team difference. So.
Right. Yeah. All right. That was good.
So honorable mention. The team that you had that I didn't have is my honorable mention. I'm going with New Orleans, Alvin Kamara,
all right.
Mark Ingram. This is a great veteran pair. Obviously, you'd love to have either one of these guys. Alvin Kamara is a top 5 running back in the league. And Mark Ingram, having like a strong veteran presence who, Alvin Kamara has, he gets injuries from time to time. He gets banged up from time to time. And knowing that you can have Mark Ingram fill in and be there he's like your safety blanket. So they are my honorable mention, just missing out on my top 5.
So my honorable mention is we're going up north on the East Coast to the Buffalo Bills with Devin Singletary and James Cook. I think James Cook is going to deliver a lot as a rookie to the Buffalo Bills with going behind a running back like Devin Singletary. We have not seen anything yet.
Gross.
But can you hear me? Am I frozen? Am I here? No.
She's back.
Am I back? You can hear
Yep.
me? All right. Okay. So obviously, I did say Buffalo, Devin Singletary, and James Cook. Obviously, we have not seen James Cook yet, being a rookie, but I do think that we are going to see a decent amount. And being behind Devin Singletary, I think is really good for him. So I actually kind of felt like I could put them into my top 5. But that would be too aggressive. That would be too spicy, even though I do make spicy takes from here and there. So I did put them in my honorable mention for that.
All right. Fair enough. Did you freeze again? She froze again. Will she come back? We shall see. Do, 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 do. She's still frozen. Please come back to the podcast with me.
Am I back?
Back. Yeah.
My internet has been I don't know what it has been the last month. Awful. Awful.
No, it's the humidity, it's the thunderstorms, it's all that.
Whatever. I ain't about it. So let's go with the worst. I must say we looked at the number 1 on each team. I thought everyone's number 1 was good. And I was just like, oof, I don't know. It's just tough.
There were a couple options for worst here, and there were some options that included rookie running backs. And I almost wanted to give them more of a benefit of the doubt. They could be good, which is what led me to pick a tandem of veteran players who you're showing your cards. We've already seen what they're made of. We know who they are. They've been in the league a while. What we're showing you is advertising. It is what it is, rather than you could have hope that one of these young kids could be good. So I am going with the Houston Texans tandem of Marlon Mack and Rex Burkhead. Neither one of these guys, Marlon Mack is not an RB1. Rex Burkhead, I think, is fine as an RB2 paired with a really good RB1, but I don't like this tandem together. And again, it's just, we're looking at Houston here. Houston has it rough. They do not have playmakers, and, doing this game and looking at the list of all 32 teams, it's ooh, it's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a very rough year for Houston. And honestly, that's only makes it more rough for Davis Mills, where it's your run game is and we're going to have to rely on you. And that's not great either.
Yeah. I do have a couple of comments coming in. Yes, I am. I know my internet sucks. I am actually wired through an Ethernet cord, which sucks, and it does not work for some reason. I got to call Optimum. I don't know what's going on. And someone asked if we are going to training camp with the Giants. Unfortunately, it really sucks, but Katie and I actually cannot, due to we are workers 9 to 5, so we can't take days to go. And the weekend, I was actually very pleased to see how many weekend things they had, but none of it actually works out for us. So unfortunately, we cannot do that. We cannot do Fan Fest, but we were actually talking before the show. We are going to be, we're going to try to hit up as many games as we can this year. So you'll see us. We'll be there. Don't worry. You'll know we'll be there. So alrighty. And my worst duo, and I get everything that you said. Maybe it's just I'm just this team just screams out worst to me. I gotta go with Jacksonville, with Travis Etienne. I cannot. Etienne, I know, Jr. and James Robinson.
What's hilarious is I told my husband the game we were playing, and he was like, the duo that would be in my top 5 is Travis Etienne and James Robinson. And I get it. James Robinson is actually one of my favorite RB2s.
I know.
He can be an RB1. And that's a lot saying how they feel about Etienne. Obviously, he suffered an injury last year, and we didn't get to see him. But I actually really do like that duo as well.
I don't know. There's too many question marks. I'm not a question mark gal. Even though the Giants are a huge question mark, I'm not a question mark gal. I don't know.
All right.
I get it, though. I get it.
That's so funny.
I know.
All right. Well, it was a great game. Great diving into. This only helps us, by the way. Like, I know we didn't start our fantasy football talk yet, but these kind of games, like looking at these wide receivers, looking at these running backs, that obviously we're trying to help you here too, and kind of giving you who we like and who we think are going to be, studs this upcoming season. So definitely a good game to play. But now we are going to get it off our chest. Is that part of the night? Positive, negative, housewives, football, life, wine, summer, almost football season. Kate, what do you got?
Well, it's almost football season, but it is almost October. And what that means is that BravoCon is back in New York City, and Katie and I are officially going. This is our announcement. I announced it on our Instagram today. So we are going back to BravoCon. We are going on Saturday. We did not buy the 3-day passes. Sorry,
That's too much.
Okay, it would have literally been like $500 each. Like, I'm
sorry. Not even price wise, but like that's a lot to take in. Like
price wise, like that's a lot. Like Giants training camp is free. Like I can go see I could go to literally. We went to the softball game for what? Like, was the softball game free? No, it was like $10. I don't know. Literally, I could meet Giants fans or Giants players for free. Like, it's literally not anything worth it. But we are going back to BravoCon. I'm so excited. Katie and I had a phenomenal time in 2019. So it has been almost 3 years. It will be 3 years technically since we have gone. We had literally met so many Bravo Lebs. So excited. Obviously, a lot has to do with Housewives. That's where we kicked off our friendship with Luann, and she clearly loves us. I loved that part of our announcement today of literally me sobbing meeting her. So I can't wait to do that again. My sister joked on our post. She was like, maybe Caitlin won't cry again. No, I will. I cry when I cry when I get very starstruck. We all know that. But honestly, so excited that Katie and I are able to go again. I'm so happy they're selling 1-day passes. We got in the day before. If you are not a Bravo insider yet, I recommend anyone who watches the show that you're into Housewives, you're into Bravo, become a Bravo insider for events like these, for any TV specials. You get the all-in access on that. It literally does not cost a single dollar. And I got tickets to BravoCon before other people could. So it's literally just a simple thing of finding out things. So do that. I'm so excited. Kate and I are already in the process of brainstorming and workshopping costumes. So if you have any idea, Katie has a really good one, but I'm still struggling. I have no idea what I'm going to do. I don't even know. So, but please let us know. And we are so excited. If you're going, let us know, obviously. We'll meet you there. But again, just be prepared for a ton of phenomenal content. We'll actually have business cards this time. We did not have them last time, but people will actually get them now. But we are so excited to be going back again. Obviously, a huge part of this podcast. So I cannot wait.
Absolutely. So my get it off my chest, I'll make it real quick. Caitlin was not the only one to post this on Instagram. I actually saw a ton of people post this on Instagram. And I will say that 99% of the people that posted were posting it because they were very sad about the news. Caitlin was the lone person, by the way, that posted this, that Choco Taco, the famous dessert, you're always going to see it on the ice cream truck. Well, it is being discontinued. There will be no more Choco Tacos. And the people, the smart people, are absolutely outraged about this. Caitlin basically posted it and was like, I never liked them. Anyways, so whatever.
Good.
I'm not a big chocolate person. I'm not a chocolate dessert person. I'm always give me something fruity. If the ice cream man pulls up without fail, I want the Choco Taco. It is my favorite ice cream truck dessert. I love it. I genuinely can't remember the last time I had one.
So you're not a true fan. So there you go.
I don't have children. I don't go to baseball games and see the ice cream man.
You literally have the North Caldwell ice cream man's number.
All right. I haven't seen an ice cream truck in a very long time. So
one just started going through my complex. I'm so excited about it.
Listen, Choco Taco, I have no idea why they've decided to end. I hope that the outroar and the outrage and uproar on social media, people being very upset, I hope somehow that changes something. But my get it off my chest is, a big to Caitlin for how dare you? How dare you? I actually immediately messaged her and cursed her out. And apparently she told me that 5 seconds later, my brother did the same. So thank you, Ricky. Thank you to my brother. I knew he would be on the same page as me on that one. So Choco Taco, if you really are going to be done, you will live in my heart forever. And hopefully maybe the ice cream man might still have a stash of that. I am gonna hit. I do have his number. I'm gonna hit him up and be all right, your last box of Choco Taco.
So you and all the Choco Taco quote unquote lovers are very dramatic. So yes, the ice cream people are still selling them. So get over yourself. They're still selling them. What they're not doing anymore is selling the 4-pack in the grocery store. So you cannot get off your lard.
We were dramatic because we thought it was the end.
No, you got to read into the details. But good. I thought it was good. Done. Get over it.
Then F you, but thanks for reading the details.
No. So there you go. Read the details, obviously, everything like that. Yes. So an ice cream man can still individually sell it to you. So it's very similar to... So Klondike owns Choco Taco. So if you think about when you buy Klondike bars at the grocery store, you buy them in like a 6-pack. So when you buy from the ice cream man, you buy a single package. So that is literally what's going to happen right now. So you literally just buy a Choco Taco. So honestly, though, screw all of you guys. I got so much hate for posting that. And I wanted the hate because I knew, because they're disgusting. Honestly, they are so not cool. And I'm a huge, I like all of that stuff. I'm not a huge dessert person, but chocolate, cool. Yeah, they're gross. They're not good. They're not whatever. They're so hyped up. And you could tell the amount of hate I got back. You guys are a little Choco Taco cult. You're a little
if I'm part of a cult, I'm cool with being a part of the Choco.
You're literally a part of the Choco. I think the government should look into this Choco Taco cult because the amount of hate I got was overwhelming, and I knew I was gonna get it. But it's my same thing. I hate peanut butter, and you can come at me for that. I don't care. I don't care. I tweet about
peanut butter, but that's
just disgusting. It's literally peanut butter is literally disgusting. So you can come after me. Choco Taco, peanut butter, great. Cool. I don't eat red meat either, steaks or burgers. So cool. Come at me. Come at me, people.
Who also doesn't like Aperol spritzes? Come at her.
Okay, you know what? I did, shockingly enough, I did tweet about that a week or two ago. I thought I was gonna get a lot of hate. No one really gave a shit. I don't know.
Maybe some people, the people that do not like them, a lot of people will argue that they're too bitter. And I think that's because if you do too,
but I don't mind bitter.
Because if you drink Aperol on its own, it's like a bitter, it's very bitter. So if you get one that is too much Aperol, the Aperol ratio to Prosecco is too much. I don't know what
it is.
I go very light on the Aperol when I order one. So
I don't know what it is. They just don't send it home for me. That's all I really have to say. But I'm so happy that Katie was able to call me out tonight on Get It Off Your Chest, whatever. If you're a Choco Taco lover, you can shove it up your ass. That's all I care about. With that being said, we are going to close out tonight. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We do not want you guys to miss the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, which is on tonight at 8 p.m. You're a little bit behind if you're watching live. Dubai is also on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Real Housewives of Atlanta is still on Sundays at 8 p.m. We are 8 days away from the Hall of Fame game, people. It felt real when I watched, things from practice today. It felt real when I put this jersey on before. I'm so excited. So we're 8 days away from that. And Hard Knocks is only 13 days away. So
and next time you guys see us, it'll officially be August. So
that means football is in August. Football is in August. So yes, obviously stay tuned for everything that we have coming out. Please, 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 keep a lookout on our Instagram, our Twitter, our Facebook. We are posting updates constantly. We will catch you live every Wednesday on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. As always, we appreciate the love. You guys kill it. So happy you're with us tonight, and we will catch you on the next episode of The Real Football Fans of New Jersey. Mwah. Love you guys. Good night.
Good night, honey bear.
Oh, she's in the room back there. She's probably screw you guys. Good night.